6 p.m., September the 9th, 2015. It's time to call this San Felipe del Rio Consolidated Independent School District Board of Trustees special called meeting to order. Mr. Oberfeld, do we have a quorum?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
All right, let the record show that a quorum of the board members are present, that this meeting has been duly called, and notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time, we will begin with a moment of silence.
Madam Chairman, we would ask the board to dedicate this moment of silence in observance of the passing of our freshman student, Christian Perez. Christian passed away yesterday in the evening.
And we do offer our sincerest condolences to his family and friends. And you'll definitely be in our thoughts and prayers. Let's proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go on to, just for clarification, number 4, 5, 6, and 7, recognitions, public hearings, board members' report, and reports. There are no items. So we go on to the consent agenda. We have one item under the consent agenda, and that's G1, consideration to approve a contract over $5,000 with Martin Seca in the amount of $7,350 to provide leadership training. Do we have any questions? Mr. Mesa?
First of all, I do want to say that I think Mr. Seca is a wonderful person. I think this training is needed. I certainly would like to have even prayer before our board meetings, but I've attended so many law conferences that I just want to make sure that the attorney has been advised about this, or have we talked to counsel?
Well, Mr. Mesa, the training that Mr. Seca is offering is very distinct from any type of religious indoctrination. It just has to do with leadership. We've had numerous conversations with him, and he has already provided training to some of our personnel in customer service, and he's also spoken to a group of students at the Blended Academy. And every time I asked Dr. Garza to sit in at the Blended Academy to make sure that everything was in compliance, it has absolutely nothing to do with religion or anything that would compromise our legal standing. However, I will visit with our school attorney, but again, his services are only the capacity of leadership training, absent of any religious references.
And again, not to demean in any way the character of Mr. Seca. I think he's a wonderful person. I just, don't want any objections from parents and so forth. I do realize that this training is needed by our students. My understanding is half of it will be students and half will be administrators.
Yes, that's correct. He will be presenting to our district leadership team, and then another part he will be talking to students.
Okay, that's the only question I had, just in regard to legality of it.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a question. I concur with Mr. Mesa on the first part about making sure there's a strict separation. And also, I'm familiar with Mr. Seca's work, so I certainly think he does a good job. But my question is, it says, not about the students. And I think those topics and providing that to the students is certainly, very much in need. But my question is, who is the district leadership team? I mean, is that the team at the Blended Academy? Is it throughout the district? It's certainly not the superintendent and his cabinet, is it?
No.
No.
The district, we have a monthly district leadership team meetings that include, yes, the superintendent's cabinet, all of the directors in the
Okay.
district, and all of the principals in the district.
Okay. So within the district leadership team, would there also be the possibility of, I guess, people a little further down the line, like assistant principals, coordinators, others who might be in need of that training, the topics anyways, it's stated?
Yes, I would, just to be open, I'd have to visit with Mr. Secca because we did share with him a number of
Of people?
participants.
Okay,
But if he was comfortable, because that's only a small part of our monthly meeting,
right.
we could definitely bring some assistant principals into the group and then dismiss them after the training. So that would be a possibility.
And the only reason I'm asking, looking at the topics, right, collaboration, change, teamwork, that's very applicable, like at the campus level, at the department level, that really just clarification. I mean, I would think it'd be more beneficial, kind of more frontline type administration than further up, but, okay.
I also had some concerns along the lines that Mr. Mesa and Mr. Garabedian mentioned. Mr. Secca is an amazing man, and he does have great motivational speeches. He definitely knows how to connect and reach people. But I do know that the BCFS here locally, and it is something that I mentioned to Dr. Rios, does provide, excuse me, the same kind of training, and it is at no cost. I'm not sure if they're as dynamic as Mr. Secca is, because he is pretty dynamic. But did we seek Mr. Secca out? Granted, it's not, it's $7,000, a little over $7,000, and it probably didn't have to go through like a bidding process or RFP or anything like that. But are there other entities perhaps that could provide similar training? Or did we seek him out?
No, ma'am, I certainly don't want to compare him, or I guess I run the risk of saying that other people aren't as good, but specifically for what he offers, we felt that it was a good match and we sought him out.
Thank you.
One follow, I saw on the website that he provided an earlier training a couple months ago. Was that something similar? You may have said it, maybe I missed it.
His was customer service.
Okay. And so someone assessed the end users, what's the word I'm looking for? That they felt it was helpful, informative. Was it well received?
Mr. Garabedian, through Deer Oaks, Mr. Secca was contracted through Deer Oaks to provide customer service trainings. And our feedback, all the attendees did fill out a survey, and all the feedback was very positive.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Any other questions, concerns, comments? No?
So there would be a kind of a double check with legal counsel, that was just to make sure that, because we understand this is a private business on his part. Okay.
His first meeting is scheduled for tomorrow.
Yes. Ms. Josie.
Is there a motion to approve the item on the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Mr. Overfelt. Second by Mr. Chavita. All in favor? Opposed? Bessie, motion carries. All right. No items under H or I, second reading and adoption of policy revisions and quarterly investment report. Ms. Falcon, do we have citizens to be heard? We do not have anybody signed up. Therefore, we will move on to number 13, as there are no items on number 10, administration, 11, curriculum and instruction, and 12, facilities and operations. Under business and finance, we have consideration to approve the general fund budget amendment for year 2015-16. Commitments from the fund balance. Ms. Yanakani Valdez.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Lozano, Dr. Rios, board members. At the August 31st special called board meeting, the Board of Trustees approved the commitment list and a resolution for those commitments. The next step is to amend the general fund budget by functional category. And in front of you, you have some packets that include the functional changes via financial report, which looks like this. Oops. And when the meeting packages were distributed, we also included the memo, which included the detail of each project and what functional category they were included under. The total, of course, does match what was approved at the August 31st meeting. And there is only, on the memo that you have before you, there is only one change from the memo that was sent out with the agenda. Under function 11, we had originally included in there the $650,000 for the academy, I'm sorry, the magnet school, but it should be under function 81. So that's the only correction I made to the memo that was originally sent out to the one that is before you. And those amounts are reflected in the financial statements. And I can read if you'd like, I can read the values by functional category or answer any questions.
Does anyone wish for Ms. Yanakani to read out the individual function? Any questions? All right. We're ready.
Just a real quick question, because I've been looking at it since last week. Was it last week? Yeah. It seems like all month, right? That's all we've been. On one of the I guess I'm on page 9.
Okay.
The facility projects that are carryover. So, like the Del Rio Freshman School fencing include phase 1. So that's not complete, right? That's like to finish the project out. That's what we're doing.
That's a project that still needs to be finished in the 15-16 fiscal year, yes, sir.
Okay. And the Annex 3 security office renovations, is it just upkeep? Or I know at one time there was even talk like a operation center or something in case of that the chief and the emergency management and the officers had to get together. Is that or is that just an upgrade?
No, sir, it's just an upgrade. We might move a wall and add an additional office space because the idea was to have the emergency operations officer report to the chief.
Right.
So having them in the same building, if there's space, would be appropriate.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that we had discussed doing before. Painting, maybe new carpet, but it's just an upgrade.
Just an upgrade. Okay.
Make a comment.
Mr. Mesa,
I'd just like to make a comment, and this is again referring to the money that was left over from high school, that somebody needs to explain, that money needs to be utilized by the campus. We're ordering these whiteboards, and I'm thinking, why, if you purchase a few, you still have money left over, why should it go to the commitment of, the fund balance? And with these projects, it should be bought with campus money.
Yes, sir. We have that on our to-do list. We'll absolutely be doing that.
Thank you.
Madam
Mr.
Chairman?
Chavita?
Just a comment on the security. Is it, everybody's got the security entrance secured now? Is it, are we finished with that?
I might ask Mr. Salinas to provide that response.
Because I'm glad, because it's some, the way things are going now, we better be.
Yes, we brought some of those funds forward, Mr. Tavita, because we did not complete everything this last year. But our intent is to have it finished by the end of the first semester, all the campuses. Right now, we have completed at least 5 of the elementary campuses.
That's great.
Mr. Garabedian?
So I guess getting back to Mr. Messa's comment, I know we talked about it last time, so some of these are like almost capital improvement projects, and others are kind of standard. So why did they not get purchased last year? I mean, it's more than the high school. To Mr. Messa's point, there's also things at North Heights and Buena Vista. I mean, things that window blinds, right? Area carpets for classrooms.
Now, in reference to their campus budget, for example, North Heights did spend all of their funds.
Okay.
And then on the blinds, that is part of the maintenance budget, and they do spend all of their funds as well. So the budget process includes a step where if there is a one-time project that is not able to be allocated within the budget that they're requesting, they have a special, what we call a special request, and that's what we include in the committed funds. The only one that did come in favorable for the year was high school. But again, when we prepare this, it's in April, and at that time, we didn't forecast that they would be so favorable.
Okay.
Are we ready for the recommendation?
Just one more quick question. Back to the security, now that there's a new chief of police, and I assume, beginning of the working relationship between that person and the emergency management and the officers, they didn't make any requests for like space or a center or anything like that other than just the renovations, or is the renovation request from just previous? I mean, because I don't see them on the request for 15-16.
No, sir. The chief of police did request a training center, and of course he requested this about 10 days ago, and we did commit to him. We have food service management moving into Annex 1, and they're going to free up the previously used building,
Okay.
which is just 2 doors down, and we thought that we could do it within our budget for this year to just set it up for them for training.
So something, I guess, more
Yes.
that would enable emergency management and the district police to collaborate, that is still possible.
Yes, it's a big room. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the Citizens Committee's district-wide construction projects, the capital and special request and facility projects with a budget increase of $22,913,460 for general fund expenditure budget.
We have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve? I so move. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Overfelt? Any further discussion? Mr. Chavita?
Oh, I just.
Oh, I'm sorry. No further discussion? All right. All in favor? 4 opposed?
You knew it was coming, not
One.
along with executive office furniture.
Motion does carry.
Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to 14, Human Resources and Student Services. There are no items. Next on the agenda is closed session. It is still September the 9th, 2015. It is now 6:25 p.m. The Board of Trustees will recess this open session and convene in a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D and E. We're able to do that under Sections 551.071 through 551.074 and 551.076, 551.082, and 551.084. Specifically, we will discuss pursuant to 551.074, discussion of personnel or to hear complaints against personnel. Number 1, discussion of personnel report to include the following: new hires, district vacancies, retirements, resignations, or reassignments. Number 2, discussion of salary adjustments to include, but not limited to, the following justifications: service credit, master's degree, and stipends. All final votes, actions, or decisions will be taken in open session. We are now in closed session. Okay. It is still September the 9th. Now at 7 p.m., the Board of Trustees will now convene in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D and E. No action was taken in closed session. We begin with A, consideration to approve the personnel report to include the following: new hires, district vacancies, retirements, resignations. Dr. McNamara.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This time, it is a recommendation of the administration that the following recommendations from our principals be approved this evening. Art teacher, Del Rio Middle School, Ms. Sherry Vela. Art teacher, Del Rio Middle School, Ms. Lily Sauceda. Fourth grade teacher at Lamar Elementary, Brenda Menchaca. An elementary counselor at Lamar Elementary, Ms. Edith Ivada.
All right, we've heard the recommendation. Do we have a motion? Mr. Chavita, and second by Mr. Overbell. Any discussion? All in favor? 4, against? 1, motion carries. Thank you. Next is discussion of salary adjustments to include the following justifications: service credit, master's degree, and stipends. Dr. McNamara.
Yes, Ms. Lozano, Dr. Rios, and members of the board, it is a recommendation of the administration that the salary adjustments be approved as presented in closed executive session this evening.
We have heard the recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So
Mr.
moved.
Overfeld? Sorry, second by Mr. Garabedian. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, you too. Left on our agenda, superintendent's report, no items, so adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Garabedian, second by, first by Overfeld, second by Mr. Garabedian. All in favor? Motion carries. Good night. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.